Today at the NFL owners meeting, 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan was addressed by the media and he was asked several questions. One of those questions was about their starting center, Jake Brendel. Smash that like button. We're going to dive into it right after this. What's going on, 49ers faithful? It's your boy, the WayneBreezie, and we're here to talk about Kyle Shanahan today at the NFL owners meeting. I know everybody was waiting for Kyle Shanahan to speak. Yesterday, we heard from John Lynch. Today, we got a chance to hear from Kyle Shanahan, and he was asked about their center, Jake Brendel. Now, before we get into it, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click subscribe, all right? Subscribe is cool, right? It's free. And if you want to support the channel, you become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. Also, check out our sponsors over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezie, and you can save on your total purchase. Let's talk about Jake Brendel, who is currently the San Francisco 49ers starting center, and he's under contract to 2026. And when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, if you had to pick the weakest link on the offensive line, many, including myself, would have probably said, oh, it was Jake Brendel. It was Jake Brendel. It was Jake Brendel. It was Jake Brendel. When the actual weakest link of the offensive line may not be here anymore. All right. Now, I'll leave that to, subject to change, but we'll focus on my man, Jake Brendel, undrafted guy. He came out of UCLA. Dallas Cowboys is where he started his career, and he ended up getting signed by the San Francisco 49ers, and then he ended up getting a nice little deal by the 49ers where he's going to be here through 2026. He's been in the league since 2016, all right before Kyle Shanahan took over the head coaching realms of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, we all know that Kyle Shanahan covets one position when it comes to the offensive line more than any position. And I'm not sure if it's all about Kyle Shanahan or if it's more of what Chris Forrester, offensive line, AKA/assistant coach, likes. But I will say that the center position seems to be the most crucial piece to the offensive line. Of course, you got your left tackle, but the center position is really what helps with Kyle Shanahan and knowing and the alignments and the things out there, like knowing when the slider protections left to the right, understanding what's going on, making it a little bit easier to me for the quarterback when he's out there, just taking some of the pressure off the quarterback. Now, you need a specific fit when you're out there, and the Niners have tried several different players at the position of center, and they've been going with Jake Brendel for the past couple of years. Now, before we dive into Jake Brendel, let's just take a listen to what Kyle Shanahan had to say.
How would you assess Jake Brendel's play last year?
I thought Jake played well. When you study centers throughout the league and things like that, and you watch all these guys, I think Jake's up there when it comes to his pass protection. A lot of these guys get mismatched against the head of noses and some of the D tackles they got to go against. I think Jake does protection as good as anyone in this league, and I think he's always been a very good run player for us too.
Will Hennessy factor in at all? Would there be any sort of competition at that spot?
I don't really look at it going in as.
All right, so before I even get to the second question about competition, let's go ahead and take a look at how Jake Brendel fared when it came to, I guess, his play out there on the football field. Now, I like what Kyle Shanahan said. Listen, there's times where he's going to be matched up with these big nose tackles. I mean, you looking at 6'4", 299 going against 6'3", 350, 340, like, you get what I'm saying? It's going to be a little different out there for Jake Brendel, and I'm not saying that's an excuse. Now, I do want to put out that Jake Brendel was the 17th ranked center. So the 17th best center in the league. He was ranked 17th, and that's pretty daggone good. It's right at the middle of the pack, 16, 17. Now, there are some players up there that had less than 1,000 snaps that I feel like Jake Brendel might even be higher. So if you take away that and you factor in a certain number of snaps out there, Jake Brendel would probably be ranked even higher. He did finish with a 65 PFF grade overall, and his strong suit was run blocking. No cap. His strong suit was run back blocking. So pass pro, little suspect. Run blocking, he was the man out there on the football field. He finished with a 71 grade, and we're gonna look into his blocking schemes. And I think I understand what Kyle Shanahan meant by some of the things that he was saying, as far as, you know what I'm saying, depending on who he's matched up against. I think matchups do play a big role in what the players do out there on the football field. Now, just looking at his overall grades, his best game was against Chicago. All right, you can see that outlier at the 82.6, and we're talking overall, but his best run blocking game was that game, and that's probably what helped boost him all the way to the top. His best pass blocking game, no lie, was from the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots. And when you look at Jake Brendel, he only gave up 1 sack. He did give up tons of pressures, so 26 pressures, but one of them were a sack. And if there were two areas that I would like Jake Brendel to get better on, the pressures are going to happen because he's kind of like getting attacked from every angle. He's responsible for sliding and picking up a guy here and there. Like, I get it. The fact that he only gave up 1 sack, and I'm looking for the true pass setter rating, ratings as well, because that would kind of like change up things a little bit. So we go to pass blocking, and when we look at the true pass set, when you think of true pass set, you're thinking of plays that are just straight dropbacks. We're not talking play action, screens, just line up on the center, drop back, boom, 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 boom. Straight shotgun, drop back, no fake, no play action, no pass action, just straight pass attempts. And even in that, he gave up did he give up the 1 sack there? Yes, so that was the 1 sack came out of a play that was the sign. So you can see, like, Jake Brendel, in my opinion, appeared to be the weakest link, but it might not have been from his play. And this is what makes him the center of attention. This is what makes Jake Brendel the guy that Kyle's probably going to roll with, because I really wanted to dive into it, and we'll listen to Kyle Shanahan some more. But this is what he did this particular past season. All right, past season, you see 1 sack, 3 hits, 22 hurries, total of 26 pressures. All right, now the area that he has to improve in my opinion, and this is just straight up, overall, straight up, you see his run blocking grade is almost a 72. I wanted to show you how PFF looks so you guys can kind of get a little hint of that. But looking at his overall grade, if I had to pick an area, obviously he needs to get better in pass protection for sure. There's an area he could improve in. But man, it is this area where it says PEN. PEN does not spells the word pen, but it's short for the word penalties. And 10 penalties on the season, I think that's what hurt Jake Brendel a lot. I think the penalties hurt Jake Brendel a lot. And it forced the 49ers to be like, take away, negated big plays, things like that. And so Brendel he's a smart guy. He has to go out there and just be the smartest guy, literally, other than the quarterback on the football field. And I think if Jake Brendel can do just that, Jake Brendel will be just fine. Or at least he'll have a better opportunity of showcasing what he really can do out there on the football field. And I'm as optimistic as it gets. You feel me? Like, it doesn't get more optimistic than me. I always give everybody a chance, but even my own eyes saw that Jake Brendel struggled at times. There were times he was just standing around looking lost like a deer in headlights, blocking nobody. Like, there was just some times where it just looked really bad. But grade-wise, he finished overall 17th, and so that's the middle of the pack in the league. And that was out of 40 centers, too. You know what I'm saying? Out of 40 different centers that played last year that took snaps at the center position. And for a guy that played over 1,000 snaps, if you feel like 17th is good, middle of the pack, cool. I think that's where Kyle Shanahan is coming from. Now, this next particular question was asking him about competition.
I think Jake's played at a pretty high level. I think our whole line has. Look at it going in as Jake's competing. I think Jake's played at a pretty high level. I think our whole line has. It's going to be hard losing Banks. It's really hard losing Jalen Moore, who's been a great swing tackle, who's got to play a lot with Trent being down half of last year. So those are the things that we got to really look to replace. And getting Hennessy there at the end of the year, we've always loved him at center. He's been a very good guard. we do have an open spot with some open competition there. But we'll see how all that plans out. That, going into this season, going into OTAs, going into training camp, I do feel there will be as much competition on our team for starting spots as there has been in a while, especially on defense. But we kind of want to create that everywhere. We haven't had that for a while. We've gone into drafts these last few years, not as much last year, but especially the 2 years prior, to where you look at our board and it's like, man, we don't really have to find a starter anywhere. You got to find depth, because quickly there a starter with an injury. I remember going into 3 years ago and felt the only starting position we could find was a kicker, because we were so solidified. And it really isn't that way this year. So we're going to go into this draft, hopefully add 11 people. We'll see how that plans out, add them into our OTAs, and hopefully we'll have some really good competition come training camp.
So left guard would be Zakel, Barch, and maybe Hennessy, all kind of looking in at that spot.
So it sounds like Kyle Shanahan, the question was asked about competition at the center position, and it sounds like Kyle Shanahan is pretty much solidifying that there's not really much competition at this particular position. Like, he feels like Jake Brendel played the position at a high level. Now, high level and elite level is two different things. So if you feel like Jake Brendel was elite, make some noise. If you feel like Jake Brendel played at a high level, make some noise. If you feel like Jake Brendel was mid, make some noise. And if you feel like Jake Brendel was the weakest link, make some noise. Like, I think it depends on how you perceive it and the way you were looking at it, depending on what game you watched. I mean, even statistically, he didn't perform like the top elite centers in the league, right? I mean, I'm just looking at some of the top centers in the league. I mean, you look at Creed Humphrey, who finished with a 92.4 grade, which means pass blocking, run blocking. He did very well, right? Like, very well. Same size, same 6'4", 302. Frank Ragnow, Tyler Linderbaum, Drew Dahlman, who the Niners I thought would be trying to get in free agency, but clearly didn't go after him. Zach Frazier, rookie from last year. There's just a lot of centers that you may feel that were better than what we watched Jake Brendel do on the football field. And for it to not be any competition at that position, which Kyle didn't say that there wasn't. He said he didn't solidify that there will be competition at the center position. From what I heard is there's going to be competition, period. So I guess my question is, are we drafting a center? Or is there a different player already on the roster, on the current roster, that Kyle Shanahan is going to allow to compete at the position? To me, I feel like Jake Brendel is the center of attention. He's got this position on lock. And my thing is, if he can get better, I know he dealt with some health issues last year. He has with his arthritis in his knees and stuff like that. It's a real thing. It's a sore thing. I get it. But if he could just improve on not getting the penalties, I will take the play that I got from Jake Brendel. I would take him 16th, 17th. I bet you if he eliminates those 10 penalties and gets it down to 1 or 2 in a whole season, and hard. He only gave up 1 sack, so you got to commend the brother for that. But if you could limit those penalties to 1 or 2, I bet anybody that Jake Brendel would be a talked about center. Now, Jake Brendel is under contract to 2026. And go figure, if you solidify the left side, if it's Trent Williams, you figure out who's going to start at left guard. If it's a competent player that understands what's going on at the left guard spot, opposed to a player that's got to lean on the center to help out, possibly we get a better version of Jake Brendel. I feel like Dominic Pooney got the right side down. Colt McKivitz, I think, is going to hold it down for another year. Is the center still the weakest link? For me, no. Because the left guard spot is unsolidified. We don't know who's going to be starting at left guard. So right now, I got the left guard spot as the weakest link. I think Jake Brendel has an opportunity to go out there, being the veteran that he is, being in Kyle Shanahan's system for several years. I think that's going to help him out. And if Kyle says, and Chris Forrester says that this is the guy, well, that doesn't mean we have to agree. You can agree to disagree. But for me, I'm going to be optimistic. There's some good things that I liked about Jake Brendel. There's some good things to his game. There's some good things we saw on football film last year on the All-22. And I'm just hoping that it can translate going into 2025. So do you guys want Jake Brendel to be the starting center for the San Francisco 49ers like our head coach Kyle Shanahan does? Make sure you drop a comment in the comment section. I'll do my best to reply to those comments. All right. You guys keep it real. Keep it faithful to the Bay always. And always thank you for watching, man. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.